Candyman, 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 Candyman. There are some actors that you remember and there are some that haunt you, but in a good way, and Tony Todd was one of those. He didn't just perform, he gave his role soul. And he gave fear depth. Depth that can be found in the way he worked, he moved, and even the sound of his voice. Depth that can be found in his last monologue in Final Destination Bloodlines. Unscripted but powerful. For over 40 years, Tony Todd transformed the genres of horror and science fiction. He turned gimmick to sacred ground. And at times in roles like Candyman, not only was he the scariest thing in the room, but he was the most human as well. His film debut came in 1986 for Oliver Stone's Platoon. And that role led to many other universally recognized characters. That's Candyman, William Bloodworth, Kern, Zoom in The Flash, The Fallen in Transformers, Ben in Night of the Living Dead, Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2 for PS5, Grange in The Crow, Darkseid in the DC Animated Universe, The Angel of Death in Charmed, and so many other voices and roles in film, TV, and games. In Candyman in 1992, he transformed the genre. He was the embodiment of American racial violence. Something poetic, incredibly terrifying, and incredibly human. And his character to this day still holds the same weight as Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. Groundbreaking because he turned what could have been a caricature into a black horror icon. In Final Destination, he was a cryptic mortician who understood death more than anybody else. And Final Destination became a series that would not have been as successful without him. What also made him special was that he was a performer first. He trained his craft at UConn, the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center, and the Trinity Repertory Company. His background in Shakespeare influenced his style. And his ability to use his voice and stillness as an actor itself is why he's a once-in-a-generation talent. And it's why we all felt that he meant every single line that he delivered. And his voice is why gamers, superhero fans, kids, audiobook listeners, and scholars all knew him. Even if they didn't know his name, they recognized his voice. He founded theater groups, including one in his town of Hartford. He advocated for equity in casting, especially for black actors in sci-fi and horror, many of whom are now carrying his torch. But most importantly, he was known for his kindness. Tony Todd did not just perform. He elevated the craft in everything he was involved in. He didn't just speak. He gave language a body. And he gave black actors and audiences the permission to take up mythic space in genres that often excluded them. And he did the very thing we see in Jordan Peele's work today. He turned monsters into mirrors. If you listen closely, you can still hear his voice. And if you watch intently, you can find his presence. In the cadences, in the movements, in the reverence that the actors give the silver screen today. From those who come in underrepresented communities just like his.